A pastiche of a pastiche, phenomenal, and the treasure of Tutankhamen, earlier Deodato, and even here, it appears as though he prioritizes the dynamic visual over the substance of what's actually going on. The image of the kind of the dark-bound, phenomenal, sleeking his way through a room, taking out the guards, clad in normal security get-up. There's something very timelessly filmic and silent era. I mean, Phantomas was a popular character at that time. Just the Nosferatu, obviously, more specifically, Le Vampire's quality of the spectre roaming around the frame. There is something so inherently appealing, and I find that so inherently fascinating, even if the camera's not moving and he's just slinking his way throughout the geometry of the television screen or the cinema projection silver screen, and he's just punching out the guys. There's something you could, how that would be animated, illustrated in a comic book panel is one thing. How it enacts itself on screen is like this kind of garage ballet, and I really love it. That kind of 60s Phantomas, more so diabolic, that sort of, vigilante hero trend, him and his anonymous kind of super spy get up, but then he's got these kind of very capable, saucy female sidekick, the diabolic, criminal, satanic, phenomenal. All of these characters are absolutely magnificent. It's like my favorite trope in the history of superhero fiction is that brief 1960s moment, mostly European. That's got to be the superhero archetype, which in some ways I'm most in love with, and all that wave of its manifestation in cinema which I appreciate the most. There's those wave of superhero films in the very minor way, from say Superman to the Batman films of the 90s. I'm not that keen on that era. Who is? And that ugly 2000s era, which was promoted by initially somewhat good films, and certainly the first two Blade films I like. They are, and the Del Toro film is really good. And the first two X-Men films are kind of wonky, though it's X-Men, so it can only be so bad. And the next couple X-Men films are awful. Days of Future Past is still the best Marvel Comics adaptation, I think. And then there was the kind of post-Iron Man or post-Dark Knight wave leading up to the MCU and the Avengers, which I'm a fan of Dark Knight, just that 2008 picture. I'm a fan of Avengers, Joss Whedon, 2012. The ones afterward, not so much. Ultron's kind of good, I think, but yeah, I'll waffle on too much now. Deodato's superhero film. He went on to disown it, I think, as the kind of more kind of Cine community he was attempting to court after Cannibal Holocaust. I'm edgy, it's like Salah or something. That sort of, Michael Haneke, that sort of world. I think Deodato was attempting to superficially court that world, and because the people are dumb enough, they were willing to accept, we like this film with animal slaughter. But we normally condemn that, but by our weird logic, we think it's amazing. People with the initials HH, for example, one of the worst music critics who's ever lived or been born in general, of any category of human being. Anyway, Ruggero Deodato. We'll discuss one more Ruggero Deodato before we probably call it quits if discussing Deodato films through the remainder of time, and he can finally, at long last, despite my insistence that he not, well, he may as well. Who am I kidding? And who am I to even say that he cannot? Rest in peace. Thanks again, everyone. Appreciate it very, very immensely.